That there's no such thing as objective truth, which is implicit in everything that Clark says, that white people use the institutions to accomplish white purpose. The white purpose is to maintain a power position and keep everybody else in a subordinate, powerless kind of position. Now that's the institution's purpose, and that's the way it functions and how it functions. And we got to realize then that everything that the schools teach is designed to fit into that purpose. The schools teach not objective truth, but what the white man wants to project as truth. Now that's from the very kindergarten right straight on through.
For example, what?
Sociology. Sociology is not a science in the sense that it's dealing objectively with the way people live together. It's dealing with the white man's pattern of living together as the norm by which we judge how other people live. If you live like white people live, then you're living the way you are supposed to live. If not, you're either primitive or insane as a people. Psychologically, it's the same thing. Psychology does not deal with any objective kind of discussion or development of how people live or analysis of how people function as individuals, but how does the white man function? If the white man does it this way, then this is the norm by which we judge all other people. If the white man is violent, then actually all people have to be violent to be normal. If you're not violent, obviously there's something wrong with you and you should be in an insane asylum. The whole pattern that's set up as a norm for human behavior by psychologists, the whole library full of it. Psychiatrists, everybody that's dealing with it is dealing with it from a white point of view. So they teach white children, black children and white children, to look through white eyes. From the kindergarten on, the black child is beginning to look at the world and interpret it through white eyes. Everything he is wrong. Everything that exists in his community is wrong. We ought to declare that white music really is no good, that white psychology is no good. The white man either acts like we do or he's insane. White sociology is no good. The very structure of white society indicates that white people, obviously, in social structure are either insane or they're abnormal. So we have to project then a black psychology, a black sociology, a black music, a black history that takes in the realities and that is essentially sound, as opposed to the mythology that the white man has developed out of his own ignorance, for one thing, out of his non-creativity, because the white man has never created anything. He's stolen things, but never created anything.
Anytime I hear him speak, I mean, I can see why he was never really elevated, because he had such specificity in his tone, his direction. I get it. I totally get it. And it's always good to listen to people that speak unapologetically. Back then, I mean, there's people that speak unapologetically today, but they're not heard, obviously. But people that spoke unapologetically back then were heard, and he was one who was actually able to live a life. They didn't take Reverend Cleage out. You know, they didn't take him out, and he walked it the same way he talked it. I heard that he bought a whole lot of land and put his people on his land. I don't know exactly what the whole history of it is, but I heard he did a lot near the end of his life and did some things. Well, peace to the half space. Anybody that comes in here today, it's midday. Everybody's getting lunch. Probably won't have very many people. Everybody's worried about what they're going to eat today. Have very many people stop through, which is fine, because it's really I'm really trying to get my mind right today. I got a lot of things I got to get accomplished this week, and I got to stack them all up and knock them all down. That's pretty much it. You know, a lot of transitioning, and Just got to make sure things line up the way they need to line up. So I've had a lot coming at me recently, and I can't hit all these topics. But I said, you know what? I'm gonna try to take a few of them down where I'm at. This whole Black Lives Matter thing was nuts to me. I'm gonna get to that just based on the fact that when I looked at it and I was like, okay, so you hear it, Black Lives Matter made some new demands, of the government, and they want to put some things in play. I'm like, oh shit, maybe, just maybe they got their head on straight and they really starting to speak for black people. Wrong. Not. Black Lives Matter they're more lost now than I think they were before. And now that the jig is up and the bread's been spread out and you got this person doing this and that person doing that and the other person doing, they don't even matter as an organization anymore because the message is out there. The yard signs are in lawns and windows and bumper stickers, and you got t-shirts and all that. So the Black Lives Matter message, as screwed up as it is, it's here to stay. And it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate because they took an organization that was created off the bloodshed of black men, women, and children, and they turned it into potentially $1 billion industry. Black Lives Matter is going to be $1 billion industry. And there's going to be so many millionaires that spawn off of the same bloodshed from which they started this company. Will get so far off of what they started this company for and what they're doing. And looking at their demands just lets me know they don't have anything for black people. Anybody else? I'm not even here to talk about what they're doing for gays and trans and this. I don't. It doesn't even matter to me. But the fact that they are a political roadblock for black people now, because anytime you hear Black Lives Matter, you think it's got black people involved in it, and it doesn't. Most of these Black Lives Matter protests are not black people even protesting. They might be protesting about the death of another black man, another black woman, another black child, because that's all that really gets murdered out here. We done seen countless videos just in the last 7 days of how many apprehended white men, white women that were abusive to police and didn't get a scar on them. Went to jail, went home. But unarmed black men, black women, black children get killed at will here, and they're not even fighting for that anymore. To know that that's not part of their demands lets you know how far Black Lives Matter has gotten off. Now, a lot of people have probably read their demands. I'm late on this. We're gonna go kind of Casey Kasem style. Okay, we're gonna go from their seventh highest demand all the way to one. I don't know why there was 7, not 6, or why not 10? Because there's a ton of demands that Black Lives Matter could have made. There's a ton of demands, but they chose not to make a ton of demands. They chose not to activate for black people. They just wanted to put their agenda on point. So their number 7 demand, number 7, pass the Breathe Act. The Breathe Act. Police were born out of slave patrols. We cannot reform an institution built upon white supremacy. So, okay, just understand, this is about policing. We need a new radical approach to public safety and community investment. I'm not going to go through all the other bullshit and start talking about Biden. What did they say about Biden? President Biden has already drawn on okay, whatever. All right. The Breathe Act paints a vision of a world where Black Lives Matter through investments, housing, education, health, and environmental justice. They haven't said anything about restorative justice. They haven't said anything about repair. They just say housing. What is that? Affordable housing? What is that? Public housing? We get Section 8, we get some welfare, education, or we get to go to school with white people who are going to brutalize our children. Healthcare? It's bad all the way around. And environmental justice. I don't know exactly what that is. Not even going to delve into it. Don't care. Number 6. This is one of their demands. Don't let the coup be used as an excuse to crack down on our movement. In response to the coup, politicians have already introduced a Domestic Terrorism Prevention Act of 2021. We've seen this playbook before. I don't know who Weave is. Hey, Shell, how you doing? I appreciate you once again. I appreciate you in the space, and I appreciate your support. These laws are used to target Black and brown communities for heightened surveillance. Republicans are busy trying to create an equivalence between the mob on January 6th and our Freedom Summer. We don't need any new domestic terror laws, facial recognition, or any other new police power for the state. So we're on police. First, number 7, now number 6, we're on police. Ain't said nothing about Black folks. They're trying to stop the police. Now it's Black Lives Matter against the police. Our government should protect righteous protests and stay focused on the real issue. Rooting out white supremacy. We heard that in number 7. We're still in number 6. Not to say that white supremacy doesn't deserve the headlining it gets, but and the recognition, but why are we still there? Let's move from here. There are enough laws, resources, and intelligence, but they were not used to stop the coup. Our elected officials must uncover why. So we did 7 and we did 6. Now we're going to do 5. Those first 2 were about policing. Number 5, defund the police. I'm so sick of defund the police. It's the dumbest shit ever. We don't have the protection and they got all the money. What happens when you take the money from the police and they don't have the tasers and they don't have the pepper sprays and they don't have the nightsticks and they don't have the flash and they don't have batteries for the flashlights, just have empty flashlights to beat us with. They just gonna resort to the gun. Instead of defunding the police, how about diverting some of those funds to better training, to lengthier training? I don't believe a police officer should be able to go to a police academy and get a gun, a badge, a taser, a nightstick, pepper spray, and all that right after completing basic training as a police officer. You telling me that nail technicians and hairstylists and barbers got to go to school longer than a police officer should to make us look good? But you don't think the police need to go and get some in-depth training and even doing extensive background checks as to who we're putting badges, guns, pepper sprays, tasers, handcuffs in the hands of. Nobody's concerned with that. You don't hear about a bad cop until he does something bad, but he was bad before he got the badge. He was bad before he got the badge. But they want to defund the police. So you drain that swamp. You defund the police. Now they have no resources. Now what the fuck do you think they're going to do? They ride around in squad cars all the time. These squad cars, after they get them outfitted, they be a $100,000 squad car. What happens when they don't have all the resources in those squad cars? Hell, they'll be back to stop and frisk. When they ain't got all the technology to tell who they pulling over, when they pulling over, cameras, body cams, all that shit, they just going to start pulling over all the Black people. It makes no sense to defund, to take all the money away. If you got a plan with that, run the plan. But they don't have a plan. Defund the police, get rid of police, this, that, and the other. Come on now. I'm not even going to read the caption into that. Number 4 was the beginning of the most ridiculous. Permanently ban Trump from all digital media platforms. Why does Black Lives Matter give a fuck about what Donald Trump is doing on social media? Why does that matter? Black Lives Matter should have nothing to do with what Donald Trump does on social media. Black people are getting killed by cops out here. Donald Trump came in, did 4 years. Yeah, some black people died while he was in office. But what about the 8 years previous to that? What about the 8 years previous to that? And that. They're only concerned about Donald Trump. And now that to know that Donald Trump is truly the front runner for the Republican Party and possibly the next nominee for a president for Republicans, it's horrible. It's I don't even understand how somebody who wasn't even in politics before he ran for president could be considered anywhere a leader after what he did for those 4 years. And I know some people are going to say, yeah, he did some good. He might have did some good for you, but I guarantee you he white. If somebody says that Donald Trump did some good for them in 4 years, they're white. And I take what they say with a grain of salt. Now, as far as black people, did he do something that was bad for us? Did he do things that were against us? He just ignored us just like every other president does. And we didn't have nothing for him. And he did his little blacks for Trump and black Republicans and this, that, and the other. Okay, I get it. Very small fraction of people. 6 to 8% of black people voted for Donald Trump. So you knew there was going to be some people that showed up at the White House eventually. They was going to rear their faces. I expected that. But what I also expect is a counter from your Democratic Party. Your Democratic Party's had no answer, and now they've done 100 plus days in office. They've had no answer for what Donald Trump did. They've done nothing. I'm speaking specifically for black people. Donald Trump didn't do nothing for black people, and we didn't expect him to. But the Democrats ain't getting shit done for black people, and we expected him to because black Democrats put Joe Biden in office. They empowered one of the most influential Asians in the world to be vice president. Number 3, launch a full investigation into the lies between white supremacy and the Capitol Police, law enforcement, and the military. See, what is this? These are their demands for black people. Launch a full investigation into, I'm sorry, I misread it. I guess it would be lies, but the word is ties. Launch a full investigation into the ties between white supremacy and the Capitol Police, law enforcement, and the military. I got to read this one to see why the fuck they're even here. The Capitol was able to be breached and overrun by white supremacists attempting to disrupt the political process that is fundamental to our democracy. We know that police departments have been safe haven for white supremacists to hide, malintent behind the badge because the badge was created for that purpose. We also know that off-duty cops and military were among the mob at the Capitol on January 6th. Guilty parties need to be held accountable and fired. We are supporting Representative Jamal Bowman's coup act to investigate these connections. Okay, so they want to support Jamal Bowman? Got it. But why is this one of your demands? I've gotten through 4 demands before this one, and we had no reparations. We had no restorative justice talk. We had no talk of repair for Black lives to help make Black lives solve it. Now, this is Black Lives Matter, but they haven't said shit. Now I'm into 5. Launch the investigation was number 5. I've done their bottom 5. Now I'm about to do their top 2 demands. And they haven't said shit that will help black people. See, this is why today is Black Day. I'm going to go from Black Lives Matter, I'm going to go to black churches and how the fuck they aren't doing anything for black people out here, but destroying black lives. There ain't a black church in America that's doing anything to truly uplift black people. Not one. I know there's some individual preachers out here that are on the grassroots level and they might do a little bit of good for their community, but I'm talking about globally, and I'm talking about the big ones from the West Coast to the East Coast. North and the South, guys have 10, 15, 20,000 member churches, black people, and they ain't doing shit for black people. Number two, expel Republican members of Congress who attempted to overturn the election. See, this is all political fodder that can be talked about at any point. These are not demands that you're making. There's not going to be any change here. This is that circular talk that always happens with Black Lives Matter. It didn't happen in the beginning because they needed to get everybody. They needed to pull on some heartstrings. And they had everybody hashtagging it. BLM, Black Lives Matter. They got everybody. They hooked everybody. And now as we sit now, we know that Black Lives Matter is a transformative organization for gay people, for trans people, and definitely not anything to do with the murder of black women, black men, black children. They've gotten so far away from that. Just these are their demands. They're not sticking to shit. I ain't even heard shit about trans in these demands. But I guess you don't need that when the president already said, hey, I'm going to take care of gay people. I'm going to take care of gay people. Even though gay people didn't put him in office. Trans people didn't put him in office. The LGBT people was rolling with Bernie. And when they found out Joe was going to be the candidate, they eased up. They helped the election be closer. And don't think there aren't a lot of lot of gay conservatives out there. There was a lot of gay people that voted for Donald Trump. There was a lot of gay people that voted for Donald Trump. They might not talk that shit publicly because it kind of goes against the rainbow flag and all. But yeah, there was a ton of gay people that voted for Donald Trump. It wouldn't have been as close. Expel Republican members of Congress who attempted to overturn the election and incite a white supremacist attack. And I'm noticing in each one of the entries that they put a politician in, they put a black politician. First it was Jamal Bowman. Now it's Cori Bush. See, they're trying to latch in on who has been all Black Lives Matter-ish during this whole process. I see the jig. I get it. I get it. What's happening, Sue? But it's not what black people need. Black people need this powerful organization to sit the fuck down and understand where black people's needs and issues are and activate on them. Since you got the ear, why don't you listen a little bit? Patrice Cullors, Alicia Garza, and that other one I can't never remember the name of. She don't make a lot of waves. I don't know exactly what she does behind the scenes, but Patrice Cullors, she the only one that's out here, doing her electric slide in her earth shoes and shit. And Alicia Garza, she was on everybody's show. Everybody's show. She was running. Where's she at now? How come Alicia Garza ain't hitting everybody's show up? How come she ain't running around trying to attack Ice Cube no more? Because it was all political movement. It was all political movement. Now she feels like they're where they need to be. Number one. This is their number one demand. Convict and ban Trump from future political office. That's the number one Black Lives Matter demand. That's at the top of the charts. Convict and ban Donald Trump from being able to run for office again. America. Well, I'm not just speaking to America. I know I got Germany up in here. I know I got Tokyo up in here. Copenhagen, Denmark's been up in here. Paris, France has been up in here. So it's not just America. So speaking to the world, whoever's going to end up seeing this, what's happening, freak? So you in a situation, you got 7 demands, and your top demand is to make sure that Donald Trump doesn't get back into office. Black Lives Matter. That's not black people's number one demand. That's not black people's number one request. That's not black people's number one need. We don't give a fuck whether he gets elected or not. If we get a full schedule of reparations and we start getting initiatives and bills and executive orders passed for black Americans, descendants of freedmen, descendants of slavery, we'll be tight. We don't give a fuck who stays at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Fuck them. They can make that an Airbnb, all we care. Give us our shit and leave us the fuck alone. But now we ain't gonna get that because we got Black Lives Matter out here making these weird ass demands, making these useless demands, baseless demands, and demands that ain't gonna work for black people no way, no how. Having less police, having police have less technology, having police have less resources is bad for black folks. They got all they need right now and they fucking us up. What happens when you got a police officer who done worked a 24-hour shift? Is he gonna chase a young black man, a young black woman, a young black child? No, he gonna shoot him. Because he ain't got a taser no more. He ain't got a body cam no more. He ain't got no pepper spray. He ain't got nothing. I mean, the guy in Chicago, he saw the boy put his hands up. And I know this kid was Hispanic, but doesn't matter in this case. This is the type of training that they like. He saw his hands, and he still shot him. He knew he had threw something down, which he suspected to be a gun. Why he didn't work towards that gun and see that that was a gun and know that he had get out on the ground, eat the pavement, do whatever you're going to do, say whatever you're going to say, whatever them terms are they be using. Why didn't he do that? Why did he just get to blasting? Because that's a lack of training. That's a lack of skill. It's a lack of tutelage. I'm not sure exactly how that happens. Now they say in Chicago, before you chase a motherfucker, you got to get approval. You got to get a permission slip to chase a motherfucker. That's some dumb shit right there. You got to basically get somebody to sign a verbal warrant before you give chase on foot because they don't trust the police that much. But in reality, I'm not sure exactly what that's going to do and why it matters. Why it even matters. They're going to do what they're going to do. As long as qualified immunity exists, police can do whatever they're going to do. They can always chalk it up to qualified immunity. Doesn't matter. Chalk it up to qualified immunity and we're good. You feared for your life. Thought he had a weapon. You feared for your life. You're good. The reason this shit's so open and shut on Chauvin and why they're looking into other shit now, because they're really looking to nail him to the wall. They wouldn't have brought some shit up from 17 if they didn't think they could put it up on top and stack him up again. They're trying to make sure he don't get out of jail no more. Now the motherfucker wants a new trial. But they're trying to make sure he don't get out of jail no more. If they put this thing with the young kid that they said he did the same thing to that kid and that kid survived, they're trying to put him under the jail. Rightfully so, though. But they're not going to do everybody like that. They're just going to make an example out of Derek Chauvin and maybe his 3 background singers. But after those 4, what about the rest of the police that's unkilled black people? I'm going to be talking to somebody this week about R. Rosser's case. I want to see if that case can literally be open. I know it ultimately relies on the prosecutor, the assistant prosecutor, prosecutor's office, Ann Arbor Police Department's cooperation, whatever. But we don't really have closure on that case. Because what we know now, just with all the other black people that got killed after Ara, a lot of shit could have been done. And the fact that he's on the job now still and been promoted to sergeant, yeah, real shit. How do you get a promotion after you baselessly kill somebody in their home? She wasn't running out. She wasn't attacking him. Nothing. They shot this woman in her home. and you shot your gun simultaneously to your partner shooting a taser. Why'd you use your taser, your partner use your gun, and your partner use the taser? Is that a lack of training, or is that just a lack of care? I heard the Chicago police are a little different. I heard they're bad, Shell. But leadership has a lot to do with that. So you're talking about police commissions, police unions, all these people who put these people on the street, they all need to be held accountable. I don't see how you can be a police chief and be ahead of these commissions and unions and things like that, and you got police that are just constantly brutalizing citizens, constantly killing. You need to lose your position. You're not a very good leader. Good afternoon, Sister Kim. Good afternoon, Information Man TV. I appreciate you. Don't believe I've seen you in the chat before. But I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad you're understanding what I'm saying, and I'm glad that it's making sense to somebody other than me. When I see facts, I think I'm saying something right. I believe so. Black churches are against black people. They're not for black people, they're against black people. They're for Christ. They're for Christ. I get it. And as long as they want to continue to peddle that message, I get it. But if Christ is who you follow, and Christ is who you delivering your message for, why doesn't Christ give you all that you desire? Why do you rely on people who make impoverished wages to suit your lifestyle as a black preacher? As a black preacher, who most of these preachers who have really big congregations, most of their congregations make less than $30,000 a year. Look them up. Jakes, Dollar, Blake, all these people, they all got big churches, 10, 15, 20, 30,000 member churches. And the average member at their church makes less than $30,000 a year. Ain't got no ballers up in there. Ain't got no ballers up in there. You ever notice how church gets big donations from athletes, entertainers, just major figures out here? But they don't say they're a member of their church. Very few will say they're a member of a church, but they'll give donations. They'll give money. I guess they falsely trying to buy their way into heaven. I guess that's what they're doing. But where black people are lost is your pastor is working against you because he's taking your money, but he's not working for you politically. And guess what? When the politicians come to town, who do they come to see? Do they come to see you, or do they come to see the pastor? See, they love speaking to faith leaders. Instead of talking to you, you one motherfucker. Let me go talk to the one motherfucker who talks to 500 motherfuckers. Better yet, let me go get with some of these mega church preachers who talk to 10, 15, 20, 30,000 and get them. Because I can get at least 2/3 of that vote. If I can get 20 out of 30,000 people to vote for me because I come up and show up and sit in the front pews with the first lady and clap off beat and sing off tone and make a whole bunch of empty ass promises, I'm good. And that's what politicians do. They do this shit every day, all day. Look at what Bishop Jackson did in Detroit. He brought Donald Trump in. He got that big ass building over there that he calls a church. It ain't no motherfucking church. It's something that he turned into a church. God didn't bless him and say, you need to make this the house of the Lord. And he got all that, the TV station, the radio station, whatever they do over in that bitch. And he brings Donald Trump to town. How did that benefit black people after that? I want to know one person that goes to that church and it can tell me, and I know a few, we don't really fuck with each other no more. And I don't even know if a lot of them is even my Facebook friends now. They was Facebook friends on my old page. I left a lot of them clowns behind. But I want to know, tell me what black people got after Donald Trump came to your church. After Jackson went and, what did he do, the prayer or some shit? He did the prayer at the inauguration or some shit, didn't he? Shit. Black people didn't get a goddamn thing. Dope dealers? I'm not talking about, yeah, there was a ton of dope dealers that went to Eddie Long's church. And when real ballers, Atlanta's different. Because they in the South, motherfuckers will come into church Sunday morning with Cristal on their breath and drop that money in that coffer for Eddie Long, Creflo Dollar, any of them mega church preachers. Yeah, Eddie did have some ballers. Eddie attracted the ballers. Eddie attracted the ballers because Eddie was kind of he was a non-denominational church. He didn't follow one of them more strict paths. He did his own thing. When he started wearing them Dr. Evil suits, I knew something. That's humbling. I'd be happy to. Let's set something up. Just understand, I speak the same way. You know, the language is a little blue, and if I need to straighten that up, I know 3-4 more words I can throw in there without using profanity if I need to do that for you. But I speak the way I speak on my platform. So if you say, you know what, I got some people in here, if you can just tone down the profanity a little bit, no problem. Because the other words I use are just as dangerous. People should rather just have me cuss versus say things when I don't cuss. Because that's when it gets bad for you. Oh man, yeah. When he started wearing them Jeffrey Osborne Jazz Fest shirts, yeah. The Dr. Evil suits and the Jeffrey Osborne Jazz Fest shirts, yeah, I knew Eddie really wasn't preaching. Eddie really wasn't teaching. Yeah, Eddie was reaching. He was reaching. Finding them little young boys out there, them little young impressionable boys. Yes. I mean, and that's what you do. That's what you do, man. Go off and be who you want to be with, dog. Don't fuck with no kids, but go off and be who you want to be, man. Don't be running no church and shit, and everybody think you up here. This is your first lady. She up there in the front with the big hat on and da 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 da, and you straight up just got up from a land with a boy. I mean, I have no problem with people being homosexual. You want to be a homosexual? Be a homosexual. That's up to you. Don't fuck with no kids, but if that's what you do, but don't be up here preaching, yeah, my first lady, she's my everything. She's my all. I wouldn't be here without her. And a little boy just got up off, I need to stop saying it that way. A man just got up off your lap. Dean, AKA. All the way from Portland, Oregon. Welcome in. I appreciate you. Appreciate you being in the space. Free, make sure you reach out information We need to talk to them. Don't let this moment pass by. Make contact there, free. It's just not something that's natural. It's not something that's natural, Rochelle. You can't cover up for a man's sexual transgressions. And like I said, I'm not saying it's transgressive to be homosexual. You know, you're going to do what you're going to do. I'm not here to debate homosexuality right now. But if you say you a man, and that's your woman, and she your queen, and this, that, and the other, and you like putting a man's dingling in your mouth, you different. Just go be there. Go be there, dog. I understand. Not really, but I understand bisexuality. You like men and women? Okay. Now you keep your sex life to yourself. You don't run out here and be promoting, I'm a man, and that's my queen. I'm a man, and that's my queen. When you got a king over here. I think there was somebody else that stepped up in here and I didn't catch it. Got Portland. Appreciate you, Dean. Who else was in there? Information Man TV. Most definitely, we're gonna be reaching out to you, brother, sister. I don't even know who you are. I don't know if you're man, woman, what. But the fact that you're here and it sounds like you got a positive message to push, we'll fuck with you. Human being, appreciate you being here. That's not human being. That is huge man being. Okay, huge man being. Now I don't know if you are in abundance in size, if you're tall, if you know, I'm not sure exactly what it is. Hopefully it's nothing sexual. I don't really like talking about no man's being huge, so it is what it is. But welcome. Appreciate the support. I'm a little silly in here for anybody that's new. I'm a little silly and I'm a little petty. And generally that only comes out in certain areas. But when I'm just kind of kicking it into the chat room and whatnot, I be who I be. Now I got a little off track, acting silly. Let me get me back on topic. I done talked about, oh my God, they done made Lakeith Stanfield get some knee pads. Did you see that? Lakeith Stanfield? I thought he was one of our more solid brothers out here. One of our more solid thespians. Yeah, they got him. And that's crazy because I was just about to get on Clubhouse like 4 nights ago. I laid up and I was like, man, I'm gonna get in a room just to see. I didn't even want to say nothing. I just wanted to get in a room and see how the conversation was gonna be. And something popped up and I did not do it. He got into a goddamn room on Clubhouse. They made him a moderator. Motherfuckers got to talking greasy about Jewish people. Now he in trouble. Like, goddamn. He just came into the room ignorantly. They saw that it was Lakeith Stanfield, so all of a sudden they make him a moderator. Now he's pulling control. He can push buttons. He can silence people. Da 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 da. And they got to talking greasy about Jewish people, and Lakeith Stanfield didn't shut it down or leave. So now he's responsible for them people that was talking greasy, even though he wasn't talking greasy. Man, if they don't fucking get out of here, they'll take a black man down anytime you can. It's all good. Here's the thing about a show like this. There is no script. I maintain responsibility for staying on topic. If I got a chat room that's active, I'm gonna fuck with y'all, so I'm gonna talk to you the best way I can. Y'all see how I'm doing it in here. Y'all see how I'm doing it in here. Uh-oh. Hold on, son. I messed up there. I messed up. I need to go to my page to do that, or I'm gonna go into the video. So, politically, black churches are detrimental because they don't galvanize the black folks to vote smartly. We just vote for one party. We know it's a black church, we vote Democrat. I want to see a black conservative church. That would be some weird shit to me, and I want to see it. I'm here for it. I want to see a black preacher who's conservative, and his whole congregation is a whole bunch of Republicans. I want to see it. I want to see what it sounds like. I want to see what it be like. A black conservative church. Now, it's not that I don't believe that some of these black preachers are Republicans. I want to see black preacher, black congregation, black conservativeship. Putting our faith in black police is useless. Putting our faith in black police is useless. We need to stop that. A police officer has a badge to uphold, not a race. We need to get over that. We need to get over that. Absolutely, information. Give it to me. I'll back up. Give it to me. Please get into this conversation. Come on, Kim. Now you're trying to bring up old shit. I try to tell people I got more conservative views than I have liberal views on a lot of shit. But I can't say I'm a Republican just by statistics. I ain't got enough to conserve. I can't be a conservative. I ain't got enough to conserve. I need some more shit. Give me some more shit, and I might be able to go to the conservative lane. But yeah, run it. Run it, information, man. If you got something to say, please run it. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Oh, can you join? Oh, can you join the cast? Yeah, I don't even know how to do that. Hold on a second. Can you send me an invite? All right, hold on one second. Let me see. I don't know how to do it. Now, I don't want to turn off the camera, so let's cancel that. Show live. Oh, add guest. I see. I see. Information man. Hold on a second. Information. There we go. I'm inviting you. Let's see if it works. I ain't never did this before. Thanks for the subscribe to Loxy Kel and information. Appreciate the subscription. Now, I just invited Information Man. I don't know if he's coming on or not. Now we know how to do it. So let's see if that, I don't know how long it takes for that to take. Let's see if it takes. Did it work, Information? You ain't there yet. I mean, do you actually get on the screen and whatnot? I ain't never did it before. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a rookie at this. Don't let this platinum fool you. I got wisdom in some areas, but I ain't got wisdom in this whole hap space. Anybody ever asked to, come on here? So I invited you. I'm gonna try it again. I'm a little impatient. Okay, I just did the invite again. So hopefully it works. Maybe they got to get their thing going. And I apologize for not being more technically advanced. I'm learning how to push these buttons. I'm learning. But yeah, we definitely can't rely on black police to help us out any more than they've done.
How you
They
doing?
bleed for that badge. They don't bleed for us. And
How
I know
you
there's a
doing,
few of
sir?
them out there. Uh-oh.
I'm here right next to you. What's going on, my brother?
Oh, what's going on, brother?
All right,
Okay,
man.
I can see you're so crazy. Hold on
Uh
1 second.
oh, okay. Because I know you're
I
using your
can see
phone.
you.
You're using
Yeah,
your
I can
phone. I'm
see
on
you.
my computer.
Ah, okay. I got you. I'm gonna turn this. I'm gonna turn the bed down. I get a little music bed. Turn that down. I just feel like because I got the fans going and all that stuff, I try
Mm-hmm.
to drown that stuff out.
Right.
And my annoying voice, I try to give it a little bit of melody. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm good. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing fine. I wanted to talk to you because you're saying a lot of things that I agree with. I've been on Haps for a little bit now. I do weekly shows on here every now and then, and I get into a lot of issues that you're talking about, particularly as it relates to what cops have been doing to us. And you're absolutely right. Just like in Boys in the Hood, there's a lot of black cops out there that will treat us just as bad. And you notice right now they have black cops getting on things like Fox News and talking about, I'm tired of us being pointed out as being bad. And my question is, okay, if there is a lot of good cops, my question is, why is it that these bad cops continue to fester without being put in check and booted out? Where are the good cops to stop these so-called bad cops? Every time this happens to us, then you get people talking about all cops are not bad. Certainly there are cops out there that do their job professionally, but I don't see enough of them speaking out. You don't even see the fraternal order of police, their union or you don't hear them even coming out and making statements when their own cops are doing wrong, right? So I totally agree with you. What I want to do, brother, at some point in time, on my page, I have a YouTube channel. I'm actually more bigger on YouTube than I am on Haps. People know me on Haps too, but I'm more known in the YouTube streets. Sure. And I want to definitely like to get you on my channel to interview you about your experiences, your views on these issues, because that's what I do on that channel, among other things. To have this, that continue to have the discussion. That's why I reached out to you. I wanted to come on because you said a lot of things that were real. Now, in the case of our brother who went into a spaces, and you got to be careful with the spaces thing that they're creating. He went in there to check it out. Then they gave him a monetization, which made it look like he was a part of a part of what was happening completely.
Right.
And then they turned around and said, because they were talking anti-Semitic talk, that now they're labeling him anti-Semitic. And I think it's because he's an easy target. He's a celebrity. They can get more traction with him because of his status. When in fact, he may not even have those type of views. He just happened to jump in there and see what was going on. We all do it. You jump in, you see what people are talking about. Yes, sir.
Did you read the article like that he actually responded to? They said the person who reported him wanted to remain anonymous. Well,
right,
how were they able to remain anonymous and narc on him, but he couldn't remain anonymous as a celebrity? You see how much power you really have as a celebrity?
Right. Because they don't want him to be able to use his resources to clap back at that person for misrepresenting his views. If you walk into somewhere and you're there's times when I have gone into these sort of spaces because I want to see what they're talking about. I always like to know what my enemies are talking about, but I like to see what people are talking about. And if I don't agree with it, if I don't lend my voice to what the discussion is, it may mean that I'm not either with that dialogue. Maybe I'm not a part of it. I check it out and I leave. I just think there is an attack on black male masculinity in this country. There's attack on the black family every time we turn around. And these issues with what happened with that brother, those are distractions, my brother. They will use distractions, right, to get us off of talking about what's really happening. So while we're talking about how police are doing harm to us, now they want to mix it up and say, oh, anti-Semitic, oh, the LGBTQ and all of this other stuff. And look, everybody got a right to be who they are and what they are, but it's just distractions. They want to get us into a dialogue that has nothing to do with what's happening to us right now.
Right. And here's the thing. It's statistically set. People can go back and look at calendars. I know they won't, but I can tell people all the time, every quarter, there is an anti-Semitic issue that comes up in the news.
Right.
As a distraction. I'm not talking about Jewish people being brutalized. I'm not talking about Jewish people being killed. I'm not talking about Jewish people being marginalized in any other way. Somebody, generally a celebrity or an athlete, entertainer, somebody, possibly a political figure, that says something anti-Semitic, every single quarter, there's a story that pops up and it runs. It gets its run of political play. He's already put his knee pads on and apologized. Lakeith's already apologized. He put his knee pads on. See, they elevated him. They elevated him, and look how fast they were able to snatch that rug out from up under him.
Right.
He apologized. He didn't want the windstorm. He said, you know what? You're not going to Nick Cannon me because he doesn't have the same resources. Nick Cannon got fired from 3 jobs and was still doing okay.
Right. Right.
Lakeith Stanfield missed the next 2-3 movie scripts. He's going to be back doing stage plays and shit in his hometown. It's not the same. People don't understand. These celebrities are not as big as they think. Chadwick Boseman got what? $500,000 to be Black Panther?
Right.
He saved the world for $500,000. Now Black Panther come out, he ain't going to get $1. He dead. And granted, it happened through cancer, but they want to give Chadwick his flowers. Y'all didn't even give him his flowers as an Oscar. You switched the categories around to make it seem like you was helping Black people, but you killed the man who deserved the Oscar. You put Chadwick in the starring category when you know he wasn't the leading man. He was only a supporting actor.
Right.
That was purposeful.
Right. And just like in the what was it, The Messiah, the movie where they decided for whatever reason to make they switched the leading actor versus the supporting actor, and they've never done that in the history that I know of the Oscars, where you have someone who clearly should have gotten supportive actor in the man that we're talking about that went into the space, and they said now he's anti-Semitic. He should have gotten the Oscar. Everyone said he stole that movie, even though I have my problems with that movie from a historical point of view.
Absolutely.
And then they switched it around. And then that's what they give us as the excuse when they've never done it with any other movie dealing with other people and their history. So these are the games that are played. But I want to say this to you, brother, straight up.
Sure.
Maybe I'm sounding self-righteous, but I think when it comes to Black celebrities or Black people in general, we shouldn't have to do this. But when you have a celebrity name, you got a target on your back, you got to move a little bit different. You got to use a little bit more. You got to look at everything with a critical eye and assessment, because they're trying to knock, particularly, I got to be honest with you, particularly American-born Black actors. They're trying to knock them right out of the box. Sure, and what they're replacing us with, and this is no shade, but I got to be honest because I got to see what I'm seeing from my perspective. They're replacing the American-born Black actor with the foreign Black actor that comes from England or some other country, and they're replacing them to play roles of people in history that they didn't even have any understanding of. Okay. They didn't know the history, and so therefore, what you do when we're raised in this history and we play these roles, we bring a certain spirit and a certain energy to it that other people can't bring to that role. Daniel, the brother who played, Kaluuya. Brother Kalua, who played Fred Hampton, he even admitted that he had not one a clue about the brother's background. And I know as an actor, he had to study it. I get it.
Study who he was.
Right, right.
It wasn't like he didn't know about him as a political man. He had to study who he was.
Right, but if you take most well-known, educated, Black American-born actors, let's say a Denzel Washington, a Samuel Jackson, they know their history. They know who these people are. They bring a different gravity. Just like when Denzel played Malcolm X. Remember he said this? There were times on the set when he started reading lines, and Spike Lee said that he never put those lines in the script. And if come to find out, it was stuff that Malcolm X said. Some kind of way he channeled the spirit of Malcolm X, Denzel, into his soul, because the spirit of Malcolm X was already in him, growing up in America, knowing and experiencing the things that Malcolm X talked about as a Black man in America. It comes out. I'll stop right there, brother. Remember when Spike Lee said that?
It was okay. So here's the thing. So as an American-born actor, spiritually, it's there. It's his ancestral roots.
Thank you.
No disrespect, and we don't really have to go back and do this. People that know me know. I don't mean the Black Brits and all these other people. I never mean them any disrespect. But when I'm talking about specificity and I'm talking about us,
right? No disrespect to them.
We don't have to keep. But I appreciate you doing that, because people ain't never seen you on my space. Hell, I ain't never had nobody on this space. But people know that that's the angle I come from. It's not to discredit this Black brother, but ancestral-wise, Daniel Kaluuya didn't have the depth to take on that. This man is damn near twice the age of Fred Hampton.
Right.
Daniel Kaluuya is 31. Fred Hampton was 17.
Right. So they really should have cast someone of appropriate age and someone who has some grounding in the culture. And like you said, this is not to disparage our brothers and sisters in the UK and other parts of the world who are great actors. But this is just my observation, what I'm seeing, because historically, Black people in America, when our services are no longer needed, we are usually replaced by someone else, of other races or other groups or cultures. It has been historical fact. And you know that.
They would rather make a duplicate. They would rather make literally make a duplicate and not even be as good. And it's kind of like the history of the real McCoy.
Right.
You know, it's the real McCoy. And a lot of people don't realize where I'm at right now. I guess that brother died here. He died in Ypsilanti, Michigan. The man McCoy. I guess there's some history that's I've never even looked into it.
Right. He invented something. Yeah.
He invented that tool that working part on the locomotive.
Right. And the real McCoy.
And then they tried to go make a duplicate, and the shit was falling apart, and people's freight trains and shit was messing up. So they came back and said, man, we want the real McCoy.
Right.
It was the thing was called, the part was called the McCoy, and they had made a fake McCoy. Well, I'm sure they didn't call it the fake McCoy. I'm sure they called it, hey, this is the same part as they were like, no, we want the real McCoy.
Okay. Let me ask you this, brother. Wasn't it, if my mind serves me well, or right, and correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't that the mechanism that he created that allowed trains to connect to each other? Am I wrong or right?
I believe you're right. I truly believe you're right.
Okay,
I'm not functionally set on that, but I believe
it's all right. Because this is why
interlocking. You're talking about that interlocking.
That is it. That is right. Because let me tell you something, brother. Up before the real McCoy created that, remember when they connected trains, what did they call it? What was the name? They would say grease monkeys. Grease monkeys, get down there and grease that up. They would have to, and guess who the grease monkeys were? This is where this language in our country comes from. It comes out of racism. The grease monkeys were black men who were called grease monkeys because they would have to jump between the trains and they would have to grease up the bars or whatever they need to get the connection together. And they had to do it very quickly and swiftly because it was a very dangerous job. And then they would jump back up to the platform, and that's what they would do. They would say, "Get the grease monkeys over here," and it would be black men that would do that job. And then when the real McCoy, as you said it, he came up with an invention so that it would connect together without needing humans down there to do that. That would put them in danger. And you were right. They tried to make a fake invention. It did not work. And they said, "No, we want the real McCoy." That's the history. That's where the word grease monkey comes from. Okay, man, brother? I'm telling you, brother.
Just like, you see, and I've heard this story, and I have to go do the reading for the term monkey wrench. The term monkey wrench. It's got a negative, bigoted connotation to it because now they call it the crescent wrench. But it was called monkey wrench before.
Right.
Why was it called the monkey wrench? You have to wonder, and people don't understand. There's so many things that we need to be repaired for. And when I get off topic and we get to talking about different things like that, it's really not off topic. It's just we're delving so deep into white supremacy that it's absolutely nuts that you can go there. Because here's the thing. I can blame the black preachers. I can blame the black churches. I can blame them all day long. But goddammit, George Bush is the person that created the faith-based initiatives. That was a white man. Black people didn't say, "Hey, we want to do this." He gave them this. He gave them the out with the faith-based initiatives.
Well,
that was a white man that did that.
Well,
we just followed along with it.
Mm-hmm. Have you? Let me bring this up to your attention, brother. You may know this, you may not know this. Are you aware that the Southern Baptist Christian Organization, I think the Southern Baptist, it's a big organization, and you have black clergymen who are talking about this whole pushback on racial theory right now, and
critical racial theory.
Right. Yes, sir. And you have members of the Southern Baptist Church who have been teaching this, and you have white Southern Baptist Church, those white men that are in leadership who are telling Southern Baptist black churches that are a part of this union that we don't want you teaching critical black racial theory. Stop it. And you've got a few members of black pastors who have actually have denounced the actual Southern Baptist Church leadership and said that they're dropping out of it. They don't want anything to do with it because now those white men who control the organization are telling black preachers and black churches, "We don't even want you teaching it to your own people."
Right.
That was an article that came out a few months ago. I talked about it on my channel. There was one dude that was on Roland Martin's show who was a top member in that organization. He said for over 45 years he was a part of the Southern Baptist Church national organization, and they talked to him like he was a dog and said, "You got to cut out the racial theory or we're going to do A, B, and C." So this is the world that we live in.
I didn't realize that it got that deep, that they were actually talking to leaders about it. I've been seeing the interviews and different things like that online, but I didn't realize that they had already jumped on. So basically, preachers are about to be quiet. Right. They are about to be quiet over these next couple months, because if they done got it them, you got to believe they're going to go at AME. You got to believe they're going to go at Kojic. You got to believe they're going to go at all of these other big church collectives, and they're going to tell the leaders. They don't care about, Third Rock Baptist Church God in Christ. They don't care about him. He got 12 members.
Right.
But they're going to go at Blake in L.A., who leads the whole Kojic organization, right. And they're going to be like, "You know what? You need to fly in for this conference. Or if we still fucked up out here, they might just get on a Zoom call. And they'll have the 12 most powerful black preachers around the country, geographically set, obviously. They're only going to they're not going to get all the LA preachers or all the New York preachers or all the Southern preachers and all the, no. They're going to get the ones who are the most powerful throughout the country.
Right.
They're going to put them on one call, and they're going to talk about critical race theory
Mm-hmm.
and about how to keep the natives calm. And the only way you can keep the natives calm is to not talk about this. But see,
Right.
the way I see it, if my grandson, who's about to go to school, if he can catch racism in school, then y'all need to be teaching about racism in school. If there's no racism being caught, then there don't need to be no racism taught.
Well,
But
you already could see that currently what's happening in our country today is that our children are being attacked left and right. There was, I don't know if you know about this story, there was a young 6-year-old in North Carolina. He picked tulip flower. He picked a flower in a yard. And then I guess in North Carolina, they have rules where they can send your kids to court. And while the young man was in court, he was so oblivious to what was happening. They had to give him a coloring book. So they're criminalizing our kids at an early age. You had the situation where you had the 5-year-old who was made to put his hands in the toilet to pick out his own feces. You had the young man who was being racially bullied in a school to drink, and he was drinking. They were making him drink urine. And then you find out that the PE teacher was being cruel towards him. You got the young man a few months back who his mother gave him a shirt inspiring him. It was a black king. He went to school. They called him a racist. His classmates laughed at him. There are incidents where our kids are being attacked in schools all across this country when we have them in these schools. And then when they attack us, they say, "Oh, we didn't know."
What about when they took the kid and cut his locks off?
Right, they had no business doing that. Right.
You don't touch a child.
You had no business.
Let alone you cut his hair. Now I can see it. Here's the thing. If he had got some glue or something in his hair and it was potentially dangerous, you cut that out.
Right.
But they cut his locks off because it displayed his heritage.
Right.
They disagreed with his heritage and they cut his locks off.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I do come on, because I'm an onion, brother. I'm an onion.
Okay.
So I got layers. I just did a video a couple of days ago about dropping out of school mentally in the 4th grade. I was supposed to be doubly promoted. I was slated to get doubly promoted because I wasn't a genius. Okay, let me just put it where I need to put it. And once you check the video out, you'll see. I wasn't a genius, but what I was advanced enough to where I would get my work done, and I just became a total nuisance in class.
Mm-hmm.
My teacher didn't know how to accept that, and I was always going to the principal's office. Then one day he just said, "You know what? You're just so wild. You're going to end up killing somebody. You'll be in jail for murder by the time you're 18 years old." I told my mother that. She came to the school. We had a meeting. She cussed him the fuck out, and life went on. But they had to figure out something because I wasn't doing anything to get kicked out of school, so they couldn't expel me. So one of the teachers in the school had taught my cousins and taught my brothers, so they knew my family. And her name was Mrs. Stoll. Mrs. Stoll got wind of what was happening because her classroom was right down. Down the street. She right down the street, or not down the street, down the hallway from the principal's office. And she kept seeing me out of the principal's office, and wondering, like, why is this boy always down here? It was only because he would just get me out of class. He wasn't even sending me to the principal's office for a reason. He just needed me to stop being disruptive in the class because I didn't have shit else to do. He'd have gave me another worksheet, I'd have been straight. He'd have let me lay on my mat and throw the basketball up in the air, I'd have been straight. But you want to make a 10-year-old whose adrenaline is already running because I done finished my work first. Mm-hmm. So but you want to make me sit there and while these other slow pokes finishing their work. And then when somebody else finishes their work across the room, now we doing shit and being disruptive. No, find us some more work to do. So make a long story short, because it's all in the video. Mm-hmm. She started pulling me in her class, her 6th grade class. Not to sit there and eat her apple on her desk. She started giving me the work of her 6th graders. And I started doing the shit. They started seeing that I wasn't a nuisance. I didn't have a problem. I just didn't have enough to do. But
you were
the
being
work she
bored.
was giving me she was giving me was working.
Right.
So she talked to my mom, everybody, bam, bam, bam. My mom was like, nah, you'll be a freak. Going to junior high school at 10 years old, that's crazy. Bam, bam, bam. So it ended up not happening. So I basically just became a master of minimalism in school. I worked when I wanted to work. I got good grades when I want to get good grades. And now my grandson's going to go to school. They ain't got no teachers like him no more. They just label you as a problem. First, they start highlighting your name.
Yes.
Then they start talking about you. Then, here's the thing. Before they do all that, then they want to get you checked out for ADD and ADHD.
So they can put you
then
on
they
medicine.
Want to start pumping you with Paxil, Strattera, Ritalin, all that shit. They want to start turning you into something that you're not. And before long, you on medication, you ain't doing shit. Your parents they think you doing good in school because you're not getting in trouble no more, but you're not excelling, you're not doing anything. And this is where they're taking our kids. That story about the locks hit home to me because this girl braided my hair when I was in preschool. She braided my hair like buckwheat. I had a little afro, and it wasn't long. My hair never really grew long except when I had a jerry curl. But she twisted my hair up like buckwheat. And it just so happened to be a day that my grandmother was picking me up from preschool.
Yes.
My grandmother lost her fucking mind. And she asked who had braided my hair like that. And they went and found the girl, and she made the girl take out every braid. I sat there right on the stoop of my preschool with my hair sticking up crazy, and she made her take out every braid. And when she was done, I got up, and she said, don't you ever touch him again.
Right. There's a negative connotation that comes with that. Matter of fact, there was even, I don't know if you heard about this. There was a state senator, representative. I don't know I can't think of the state that it was in. And there was a brother who was a senator, a state senator in this particular state. And he had made disparaging statements about the brother, telling them, oh, I know what it was. It was it was in Colorado. That's right, in Colorado. See, Colorado's got some problems, brother. In Colorado, this brother who was a state senator, he lost his son in the Aurora Theater when that idiot went in there and shot up folks in the theater. And then the police took him alive. They didn't shoot him up like they shoot us up. And this white senator was telling him, the brother, that he should stop complaining and that he need to get over what happened to his son. And then they were going over some initiative in the chambers, brother. And the brother had said something to him. And this white senator said to him, hold on, buckwheat, called him buckwheat in front of all of his colleagues in the chambers in Colorado while they were doing some political work. He tells him to hold on, buckwheat. And then he had a nerve to say, well, that's a term of endearment. I was using it as a term of endearment.
I thought it was a different one. I just posted that video.
Okay, then you know what I'm talking about. I didn't have the name of it.
He said it. I'm using that. He said it. I'm using that as a term of endearment. Wait a
minute.
See, here's the thing. Here's the thing. That term of endearment shit, that's just like when a motherfucker says, no offense.
Right.
You don't have to say no offense if you're not going to be offensive. Generally, when a motherfucker says no offense, he generally is about to say some shit offensive. Or he just said some offensive shit and he's trying to clear his name. Now, he said, hold on there, buckwheat. Now, I'd have respected him more if he'd have said, hold on there, buckwheat. Now, what we're going to do here is I'd have respected him more if he'd have did that. But what he did was he backpedaled because he didn't know if he was about to get knocked the fuck out. Mm-hmm. When they say, hold on, buckwheat, oh, but I'm using that as a term of endearment, that's that CYA shit. Cover your ass because you don't know what's about to happen. That's what no offense is. That's what no offense is. Just like around here, there's a lot of Black Lives Matter signs in people's yards and people's windows and people's businesses. That's coverage. That's that little extra insurance coverage. If they think I activate for Black people, they might not fuck with me. And when I say activate, I'm not a dumb motherfucker. I don't mean advocate, because I already know they don't advocate for us. I'm talking about activate. Like when somebody says some racist shit, you activate and you counter that shit.
Right.
When somebody does some racist shit, you activate and you counter that racist shit they did. But advocate for us, you ain't gonna see too many white people go all the way to the highest heights. That's advocacy, because they don't want to lose their place in white America. And I'm not downing anybody that when they don't come advocate for us. But see, here's my thing. If you're not gonna advocate for me, don't ask me to advocate for you.
Right. Well, see, in America, white people know that if they go so far in their avocation that there's going to be a punishment within the code and the system that they work under. They know that there's a punishment and something that they're going to pay for it. The problem in black society is that we have sellouts, buck dancers, people who are looking for their slice of the cornbread, butter biscuits, whatever you want to call it. And they are able to push the envelope further and further because let's be honest, brother, within black society, there has not really been a punishment for those within our society who we criticize them, yes, but they are emboldened to do what they do because they really don't feel that there's a punishment that's levied on them. And this is why they feel very comfortable saying whatever they want to say. It's just like Malcolm X says, whenever a black man speaks up and speaks out about something, that the white society will go and get another person to try to discredit what has just said. And a lot of times it'll come in the form of another black face. So if we're saying that black cops, if we're saying that police are killing us, then they run and they get a black cop like they did on Fox, the cop that went off on TikTok. They've got all those views, and they'll get him to give a counter argument to our argument about what cops are doing to us by saying, man, we're not all bad, because when he says it, it doesn't come off racist. If we say that America is still built on racism, they run off and get a Tim Scott and even a Kamala Harris who will come out and counter that and say, America is not racist, even though we still got white supremacist groups running around, white nationalist groups, which the FBI said are the ones that they think are at the most endangerment of impacting this society. The FBI said that. I didn't say that. They'll say anything to counteract what we're saying so that it looks like what we're saying doesn't represent all black people. And that's the game that they play every time.
And we fall into that trap, as I've had my argument, and it was very brief, with a white person. I said, look, I was purposeful with Tim Scott. They wanted to argue that it wasn't. I said, well, let me explain something to you. For Tim Scott to get on there and say that America is not a racist country, and then back it up with I've been stopped 19 times in the last 3 years. You're a state senator. You got a government plate. You go across the country. You get stopped all the time. How? Maybe he's in rentals and whatever. He gets stopped. You think you're getting stopped because there was another blue Toyota Camry when you were on vacation? No, they saw your black face. That's why they stopped you. They didn't stop you for any other reason. That's why they stopped you. And see, here's the other thing. I thought somewhat that was a lie. Because if he gets stopped so much, that would have been brought out before. Because that would have been a good talking point for him to say, hey, even I get stopped. Because he's definitely going to talk against the black collective. Tim Scott is not for us. He might be by us, but he's not for us. And when he said what he said, my thing is, we've got the COVID-19 anti-hate bill. That goes across the country. That's not states. That's blanketed bill.
Right.
That's got to come from racism. That can't come from pockets of activity. If not, how about you just take that bill and wherever the territories that Asians were marginalized, beaten, brutalized, killed, then that bill is for those states only. Why are you making it a blanket bill if we didn't have blanketed racism?
Brother, let me say something here. And I've talked about this on my channel as well. they were able to pass. And once again, let me preface what I'm going to say. I'm not saying that Asian people or Asian Americans have not experienced some hate towards them, especially as it relates to when the Donald Trump administration was in office and they said that this was the Chinese flu or what have you.
Sure.
And that caused people to look at them with a side eye, even though in China, they kicked out all the Africans.
Nobody talks
who
about
they
that.
see. Nobody want to talk about that, dear brother. They kicked out all the African migrant workers who the Chinese government said they're the blame for COVID, for the virus. So they booted them out of China. I didn't hear any of these other racial groups say, hey, that is not right. I didn't hear any of them talk about it. I did hear black people blame this.
Was that China?
That was the Chinese government.
Okay.
Because I followed the story that kicked out after. It was all over major news programs online.
Right.
They kicked out all the Africans because they blamed them for bringing they thought was the virus. So I'm saying that. So
I knew it was Asia.
So
it was.
No, it was in China because you have migrant workers that come from Africa, from the continent, who come over and work over there. A handful of them, and they send them all back. They told them to get the hell out of the country. Matter of fact, I did a story about this. Matter of fact, if you are a black person in China, if you live there or you visit, they even wouldn't let you go to McDonald's in China. There were stories about McDonald's telling black people, oh yeah, brother, I covered this all last year. There were stories where they actually, I have the receipts on my channel, where they actually had signs in McDonald's saying black people don't come in. You're not allowed to come into here. So if you lived in China, I had video where you had black people in China that were being mistreated, weren't allowed to come into McDonald's, for example. Then they start saying, oh, let's blame the Africans, kick them out of here. The reason why I bring this up is because while everybody in America has been concerned about what has happened to Chinese people as it relates to the virus and being blamed for it and being bullied, nobody talked about how black people who live in China that are from America and Africans were being treated poorly racially in China.
Right.
You didn't even hear Chinese people talk about it in America. Now that I've said that, I'm not saying that Chinese people or Asian people, let me say Asian because it's a lot of different people that make up the Asian population. Even East Indians are considered Asian. Asian people in America, yes, they were being treated poorly. But what checked me out is that they were able to come up with an anti-Asian hate bill just like that. Only one Republican rejected it. Now, what about the anti-lynching bill? We can't even get the anti-lynching bill passed, which was something that should have been passed a long time ago, ever since James Byrd got pulled apart when he was on that truck in Texas and those yahoos killed him. Right? Okay. Right. Now, black people are saying, hey, Joe Biden, where's the executive order for us? We've got your ass in office. Black men at 86%, black women at 93%. What about us? So there's been no bill. That whole prison bill, that was a farce. Most black people are in state prisons more than we are in federal prisons. So if he wants to do some damn reform as it relates to prison reform, why didn't he tackle where we are most affected? State prisons. So it was a nothing burger. Now all of a sudden, anytime black people are saying pass a bill and help us, nobody does anything. Now, your first black president, Obama, I got to get on him too. He signed the Blue Lives Bill. He signed a bill when he was in office after you had the two cops in New York who got shot. He signed this thing called a blue law immediately to protect the police. But when black men were being killed in the streets by police, there was no law initiated quickly to protect us. Matter of fact, we can't even get them to get rid of, what's that, qualified immunity. Colorado is the only state right now that has gotten rid of qualified immunity for cops. Colorado is the only state in this country that has come up with a bill to really limit what police can do. That's just one state. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because I hate to use these statistics because it's the statistics of our enemy, but I got to use them. And I'm going to tell you why. The closest statistics for 2019, these are FBI statistics. There should be, my argument that I make to you and everyone listening, There should be an anti-black hate bill right now. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna push this up. According to the 2019 hate crime statistics under the FBI, which is their most recent statistics, you want to know how often Asian people were being attacked? And it still was an attack. I'm not minimizing it, but I got to bring this up. Asian people were attacked about 205 times. That was the most recent statistics under the FBI. You want to know how many times black people have been attacked? Let me see. Black people have been attacked during this time at the rate of 2,314 times. We're talking about hate crimes. So you got 2,000. You got 2,314. So you got 2,314 is the number in which black people were attacked under hate crime. So in this country, more than Asians. So where's our hate crime bill?
You're talking 11 times more attacked than Asians.
Right.
And this isn't a tit for tat. This isn't to speak on anybody's detriment as less or more. But you're saying that we've been attacked 11 times more than Asian people, and they have a bill, and we're still hung up in Congress.
We're still hung up in Congress with not only a bill, not only the George Floyd, that's a nothing burger bill too as well, because why don't they just enforce what's already on the goddamn books? But they don't do that.
Man, I'm tired of we get a bill when we get killed.
Right.
We get a bill when we get killed. They had that Breonna Taylor bill. And now we got the George Floyd bill. Every time we get killed, we gonna get a new bill. Fuck that.
But they haven't even passed the George Floyd bill. They're telling, I think Joe Biden was telling Congress and everybody and the Senate, hey, let's pass the bill before the anniversary comes around, which is the 25th of this month, right? So they still haven't passed the bill. They still haven't passed the anti-lynching bill, although black people are being killed twice the amount of time and still currently. But yet,
that's no shade to the party.
No shade to Asian people.
Look, info man.
Yes,
that's
sir.
Gonna fuck up the party. What's the day?
Don't fuck up the party.
You got 15 days. You got 15 days until George Floyd's anniversary.
Right.
And if that bill doesn't get passed in 15 days, that's gonna fuck up the party, because they done talked about it all this time. We got the George Floyd reform bill. What you gonna celebrate a year after his death? You've got the criminal conviction. It looks like they trying to put more shit on him to make sure he never gets out of jail, even though he done filed for a new trial. See, there's no humility here. This motherfucker don't have one humble bone in his body. Because usually when you file for the new trial, you come in with all new legal counsel and everything. You be like, oh man, I'm filing on the grounds of I had ineffective counsel.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't got ineffective counsel. He got the same motherfuckers on the case. Why? He don't care. The Minnesota Police Union Fund is paying for his legal defense. How the fuck can you get fired from a job, put on trial, convicted? I had a problem with him using the funds as a fired officer. But then I said, fuck it. They're going to do what they do. I guess he paid into the union. He can get the legal. But now he's been convicted. He's now a convicted murderer. He's no longer former police. He is a convicted murderer. He didn't retire from the police. He is a convicted murderer. How does he get access to the police legal fund still? See, that's where the problem is. And he gets to file before he does one fucking day. He ain't even been sentenced yet. He gets to file for a new trial before his sentencing date? Are you fucking serious? He's not even sentenced. And he's filing for a new trial. Just like Amber Geiger. She didn't do a year. She didn't do a year. After everybody fucking stepped down and wanted to hug her. And they ate all them goddamn butter biscuits from that judge when she gave her that Bible.
Right.
A black woman stepped down from her position and gives a convicted, cold-blooded killer a Bible. That's white supremacy right there.
Well, that's how
white supremacy right there.
That's how it works. That's how it works. We got to realize that there's not, just because somebody is just skin folks don't mean that they're your kinfolk. They're not, doesn't mean they're in your best interest. And we have a lot of people like that that are not in our best interest because they're looking for their interests. And what's going on, Heavy Dude? That's in the chat room right now.
And you know, it's so funny because I just got a text to acknowledge Heavenly Dew and Brother Shabazz, you back? Brother Shabazz, I saw you playing your djembe drum in your live performance. It looks just like the drum, and I put it in the comment that I got my nephew. My nephew is a little musician prodigy, and I got him a djembe drum, and it looked just like the djembe drum. It's quite small compared to yours, but I appreciated watching that performance that day. And I think he meant Heavenly.
Heavenly Dew.
Yeah,
Heavenly
you in
Dew.
trouble, Info Man. You
I know
said
I'm bad with names, but peace to Heavenly Dew. And she's in the chat room. I'm gonna say peace to her. No, all respect to her. She follows me, and I appreciate her coming on over. But right. Brother, I'm gonna this is what we're gonna do, brother. At some point in time, I'll be in. I do shows on here on the Haps TV.
Yes, sir.
It's in beta stage, so it's still going through improvement stage. But I'll be in contact with you. I'm following you on your IG. I'm following you on your channel now and other social medias that you're on.
Check out
and what I'll do, I will send you
on YouTube.
Okay, I'll send you, and I'll be following your channel as well. I'll be contacting you, and we'll set a date and a time to come on live and have more discussion like this. I want to get you over, Omer, so I can talk to you about this issue at the same time, promote your channel and everything like that. Let my audience know who you are and what have you, and we'll get it in because I got to be honest. I get more raw about my opinions about things on the YouTube channel than I do over here on Haps. My demeanor is a little bit more raw because I have a different crowd over there that likes it like that.
I'm with it. I appreciate the invite. The olive branch is always going to be appreciated because here's the thing. We're in different spaces out here. And I come from terrestrial radio. So I know how to be formatically correct, and I know how not to cuss, and I know how to do that, and I can still deliver. But I figure I'm out here. I'm a renegade out here.
Right.
And if I can come on and say what I need to say and get what I need off my chest, because a lot of times it's really just mind clearing for me. My mother told me, and my grandmother told me, there's more room out than in. So if you got something to say, free your mind. Now, I didn't always free my mind with them because that got me fucked up. My mama and my grandma didn't play. But where I'm at in the world, I know that I can't hold back. I got grandkids out here now. I got a grandson that's about to start school, and he's about to go into a school system that was not built for him. So I've got to equip him. I got to equip him with the right shit. You know, and I ain't going to send him there looking to fight and looking to be combative and looking to be abrasive. That's what his granddaddy do.
Right.
But what I'm going to send him there to do, you go in there, you get your lesson, and then you bring your ass on home. You're going to have fun. You're going to do all that. But he ain't got to worry about getting involved with a whole bunch of shit. The stuff that I'm seeing, the kids that made the one black boy drink the urine, see, that's going to happen more and more out here. Look at the brother. Look at the brother now. He want to open up that case that his wife died at the sleepover with all the white women.
Oh, yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Sleepover, but a black woman dies. Everybody died but her. And
nobody in society has been quiet about that, but I hope that brother keeps pushing forward. I remember that case. That's a strange case. Strange circumstances. Usually, I'm going to be honest with you. Usually when black people die mysteriously and they are around certain groups of people, 9 and 10 times there's a foul play because black people in this country, historically, we don't have a history other than what they did to us in terms of Jim Crow, hanging black people, terrorizing us. Other than that, black people don't have a track record of dying or passing away mysteriously.
Nah.
Like that. No, we don't. Matter of fact, brother, I don't know if you know this. I followed the case of the young, before I get off here, God, what was this? You had all these activist in Ferguson who disappeared.
Yeah.
I talked to one of the mothers who was an activist, and her son mysteriously came up as a suicide, saying that he hung himself in the backyard on their tree, and that his pants were down a certain way, and then they had a cheer and all this other stuff. And the family was saying that I interviewed the mother, and the family said that no, my son was not in any suicidal mode. He was involved in real estate. He was getting a business license. They said he had so much to live. And check this out. She said that the police were harassing the family because they were saying that they believe the police did this to the son, and that they were driving around their house trying to give him intimidation. This was a couple of years ago. And then we had people calling the police station saying, we want the autopsy report, because the family had to get another autopsy report. And to this day, they still never got answers to what has happened. So this is very real out here.
Here's the thing. One of the things that we do know, by and large, black people don't die mysteriously.
No, we don't.
Sometimes we just don't know who the fuck killed them, but it ain't no mystery. This ain't right. Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys.
Right. That's just it. That's just in the movies.
This ain't Matlock. This ain't Murder, She Wrote. Okay? No. We don't die mysteriously. We die at the hands of white supremacists. But we got to go through so much shit. It's always some up-and-coming person. And Sister Kim, we're going to take care of the red in a minute. I ain't really giving the red the credence right now, because me and the brother, we on some shit right now. But don't worry about the red. There's too much blackness up in here for the red. There's too much blackness. We a crayon. And we know if we take a black crayon, we can cover the red right up. So fuck the red and the white, and he can leave. I don't give a fuck. We don't block people. We don't mute people. We let them do what the fuck they gonna do. Because if he want to bring his raggedy peckerwood ass up in this bitch, he can get fucked up. Twice.
So we got a troll in the house right now?
Yeah, I think it's called The Red. It said white lives matter and all stupid shit. You know, here's the thing. Their vocabulary is really limited. So a lot of times what they do is just copy and paste shit. They don't really spell well, so they just copy and paste shit. Then they put Black Lives Not Matter. See, they don't even know how to construct a real sentence and shit. So I have a hard time arguing with illiterate spirits. And how you gonna be a white supremacist and be illiterate too? So you dumb and stupid? I mean, come on, goddamn. You know, what did you do with your 400-year head start? What did you do with your 400-year head start? To where you had to sit around and fuck with us when we just talking about some black things. Why you gotta come on here? Half Space right now should ban you. But that's okay. We don't need them to ban you. We need you to dwell. Because we are not whales. We are sharks. We are sharks. And you keep coming in this pool, we gonna smell blood, and we gonna fuck you up. So, where was I at? Maybe lose my train of thought on that. Damn, I was right there with it too. Don't even matter. Don't even matter. But the biggest thing for us, we got to stay collected. I appreciate you being here today. I appreciate you coming on with the... Because see, I always let motherfuckers know, I'm not your data guy. I'm not always going to be able to give you all the statistics. I know what goes where and why, and I'm going to tell you about it. But some of the statistics, I might be a little light in the ass on. I ain't got no problem with bringing on somebody that's got more information than me. Because here's the thing. These YouTube and Haps and Facebook and Instagram and Twitch and Twitter and Periscope streets, they weird. I would rather communicate with a brother one-on-one right here. But because we can't do that no more, not because of COVID, but because it's outdated. It's just like trying to be on the radio. Your signal only goes so far. But this cyberspace shit goes around the planet. So when we connect like this is going to bridge something, brother. This is going to bridge something. We've got people in the space with us. They fucking with us heavy. They gonna go to our channels. They gonna watch our videos. They'll watch videos of us together. They'll watch videos of other people apart. When I have people on my show, I want to bring you on just for statistical information, just for your input, because I know your input is unapologetic. See, I'm not dancing with no motherfucking soft shoes no more. I'm not dealing with it. I tried to bring a few brothers on. They talked about they was really in the streets and they was doing this, doing that. Them motherfucking henpecked ass niggas, I wouldn't fuck with them today for nothing. Some of the motherfuckers working with the goddamn police and shit like that, and they know the police are corrupt. Fuck them niggas. I don't give a fuck. Because I'm trying to take the police down. And I know if I take the police down, I'm taking your monkey ass down. And don't try to come on the show then, because you ain't got shit to say to me, nigga. I'm trying to make it right for us. They made it right for them, and they made it right for them, but we don't make it right for us. I followed that faction, and I'm going to close here too. I followed that faction, hashtag ADOS. I followed it for a couple years, brother. I ain't gonna lie. I went in head first because it looked like two people that were leading this type of situation really had it on the ball. You had an educated attorney. You had a political commentator who had worked on the Hill, educated as well. And you thought maybe they would do the right thing, get out here in these streets and do the right thing. And they would lead us in a space where we would get with the economists and the attorneys and the educators and all the people politically to where we could look to get a full schedule of reparations. But now, they want to get out in the streets and get to arguing with all these motherfuckers here that don't matter. They want to talk about celebrities that don't matter. Then they want to marginalize the grassroots people who help put their platform on the map and condemn them. Now, after 2 and almost 3 years of following hashtag ADOS, everybody's all disbanded out here. We just disbanded, trying to collect and get back together because we followed one channel. And we should have been following that channel because that channel was to nowhere. It was to nowhere. That energy was bad from the beginning, and we didn't know it because they was talking good. They was talking good. They was sounding good. And then they were nothing at the end. Once we did our down ballot Democrat, they were nothing in the end but a train to nowhere. A train to nowhere. Bickering back and forth with other YouTubers, bickering back and forth with political figures, other commentators, political commentators. It made no sense. And then they ended up eating their own young. They ended up eating their own young. The people who had put them on the map and donated to their spaces on a weekly basis, they basically condemned them too. If you don't want to follow our lead, don't follow nothing. Well, where are we following you to? You said down ballot Democrat. Once we did that, Joe Biden's in. Now what's next? And they had nothing for us. So now I'm only fucking with people who are really trying to get something done. And I see that as you. I see that as you. I see that as the people out here. There's so many other people that will talk the way we talk if we make it fashionable. Were you around at the beginning of the video? Did you hear Reverend Cleage? Did you hear Reverend Cleage at the beginning of the video, brother? Maybe I'm off here. Hold on a second. He might be muted. He might have broke out. Did he break out?
No, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay. I
Okay.
You may have
So
to
what happened? I think I had myself muted. What happened was I saw you speaking in the middle, but I might have missed whatever you had played in the beginning. But I can watch the replay to hear what it was that you were saying.
I'm gonna
live.
close with it. I'm gonna close with it.
Okay,
brother. I'm
What
Only
happened?
black folks sit in the car for an hour and a half and don't have their phone charged up. Only black folks.
So this is what I want you to do, though, brother. I want you to check out some of my content on my channel. I'm gonna be watching your content too, but on my YouTube channel, so that you can get a perspective of where I'm coming from and how I get down. But play that as we conclude. Yeah. Because I definitely appreciate you allowing me to come upstairs and talk to you. Thank you for doing that.
This is brethren. This is brethren here. And as long as we are collected, can't nobody fuck with us. Can't nobody fuck with us when we are here. And they know this. They know this. See, somebody gonna try to come in and drive a wedge between us. Guarantee it. Somebody will try to drive a wedge.
I'm not gonna let that happen.
Like, you know,
I'm too hip to
information
that
man
game.
said, you know, an information man, and they'll be like, you know, that black watch nigga, you know, he does it. Look, I'm trying to tell you, they gonna try to drive a wedge between us. They can't fuck with us, so they try to drive a wedge between us.
Nah, that's not gonna happen, brother. If you look at my channel, you see how I get down. You'll know I'm battle tested, brother. I've been through the battles. I've had people try to play that game before. I know all the signs. No, that's not going to happen.
I so appreciate you. Appreciate your candor. I appreciate you just being open enough to just come on here. Because like I said, I let people know I ain't nothing out here in these YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I ain't nothing out here in these streets, okay? But people need to understand I'm an onion that once you start peeling back the layers, we're like, who the fuck is he? And that's what we got to find out about. Because, see, we got so much depth, and that's our depth now is different than that depth we talked about with the black Brits, the Nigerian actors. And they said, we got a different depth because we are from here. This is our soil. We're from here, bro. If we weren't from here, we would have a totally different perspective on every single thing that we talked about. You can be righteous, but it's about being from the soil. It's about being from the soil. And if you ever notice, don't none of them ever speak out once they get that bag. Once they get that bag, Daniel Kaluuya should have been the first one to have been like, wait a minute, what the fuck? I was a leading man. How am I in a supporting role? Lakeith was a supporting actor.
That's right.
Put me in the best actor role, goddammit. I want to go head to head with Anthony Hopkins.
That right there told you already what the plan was. They didn't want to give it to the other brother because that brother comes with a certain controversy. He's controversial. And he speaks out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Daniel Khalid has not been speaking out. He's going along with the program.
Right. Right.
That's why they switched the Oscars around and said, let's give it to him for supporting, even though that's not the role that he was playing in. See, that's the okey doke in the tricknology.
Okay, so here's the thing. Information man. I'm gonna give you some. If Daniel Kaluuya wasn't the leading man in Judas and the Messiah, and Lakeith Stanfield wasn't the leading man in the Judas and Messiah, who was the leading actor in the Judas and the Messiah?
Your guess is best as mine. I thought it was Daniel.
And see, if Hollywood if they really want to do something, they need to just come out and be like, we fucked all this up. Because we took the leading man and put him in the supporting role actor. What they should have did was kick Lakeith out the category. How you gonna have two supporting actors from the same movie? The leading man and the supporting actor.
They already fucked up when they didn't give my man who played Black Panther. I'm getting a brain.
Chadwick? You talking about Chadwick?
Chadwick. See, they messed up with the Chadwick situation because a lot of people thought that they were going to give him the Oscar even in his passing, unfortunately. And because they screwed up there and they said, well, we got to give it to some black person for political sake. So they said, well, that Negro who played the supporting actor really was the best one, but he's too loud and he's too controversial. Let's give it to the non-soiled black person from Great Britain, Daniel, because he goes along to get along. And so they gave it to him so that they figured by giving it to him that all black people would say, yeah, thank you. You gave it to a black person. They think that we're not smart enough to know the difference in the culture, even within our black race, right?
They think black people think a win is a win.
Yeah, like, because it was a black person.
As we get a W, we good with it.
Right. But then they don't think that we actually have an understanding of the cultural differences as well. And that we have enough sense to know, wait a minute, you've never done this before where you give the supporting actor, the top actor, and switch it around like that. They don't do it. They've never done it with any film. You don't see them do that with Brad Pitt. You notice this is what I just want to say this before I get off. This is how Hollywood, how it works. They can only deal with one black person at a time. If you notice, when it comes to white actors, Brad Pitt, all these Al Capone, Al Chino, all
Al
these
Pacino,
white
yeah,
actors, they all can be hot at the same time. But when it comes to black actors, we got to go one at a time. We'll give you Wesley Snipes this year. We'll give you what's my man, the light-skinned brother,
Will Smith.
No. They gave you Will Smith for a minute. Then they gave you my other brother from Hustle and Flow, Terrence Howard.
Oh,
So we'll give you Terrence Howard this year. They do the same thing with black comedians, right? Kevin Hart is the best. Then we'll go to Martin. They only can deal with one black person at a time and put them on a pedestal. But when it comes to white actors, they can all be a star and get a lot of attention and get a lot of movies at the same time.
They can all be popping. They
did the same thing with this movie. They couldn't say, let's give Chadwick the best actor. Let's give my man Keith, give him the supporting best actor. They weren't going to give you 2 and 3 black people getting stuff in high categories. They weren't going to give you best film, best actor, and make it all one big black package. They never will do anything like that. When in fact, you can make an argument that not only should it have been actors that got something, but you can even make an argument for the films as well, because Black Panther the Black Panther movie with Chadwick, that was transformable. That was a very transformable movie, even if you have some criticisms about it. That movie was popular internationally, not just in America. It did what no movie has ever done.
Right.
And you can make an argument that it should have been an all blackout show, but they're never going to let that happen. So what they do is they give you a little bit of cornbread and say, okay, we're going to give it to the dude who was the lead actor and give him supporting actor. And because black people, we think everybody the same and everybody is down with the same thing, they won't know the difference. They won't know that we just okey doke them.
Right.
That's what they count on.
Right. So,
brother, thank you for letting me come on, though.
You understand it. I understand it. The big thing is we got to continue to push the same unapologetic message. And with the support of everybody that's been in this space, a lot of these people knew you before they knew me today. So I appreciate them coming on. Heavenly, Knowledge Supreme. Look at
Heavenly do.
Subscribe. We got new subscribers, I'm sure, on both platforms. Brother Ted Hicks. Everybody that's new today, I'm sorry. I don't usually have this much activity up in here, and I usually don't have a conversation going with anybody on the feed. So I appreciate everybody. I can usually get to everybody. I couldn't today, but I'm waiting for your invite. I'm going to send you some links. I want you to check out some particular content of mine.
Okay.
We're going to subscribe to each other's platforms on every level.
Right.
Look, let's keep spreading this message, because we can't back off this message. I know you ain't on no, all lives matter shit. I have to bet
you gotta check out my channel. You'll see where I'm coming from. I've got some issues. I'm not into all of that.
I love it.
I got issues. I got issues with Black Lives Matter as it relates to their organizational structure, as it relates to the fact that when you go to their webpage, there's very little talk about black men, although they made their bones and their whole life off of black men's death. Isn't that kind of interesting? And at the same time, I know that George Soros has been financing the social engineering. Now, do Black Lives matter in terms of the lives of black people? Hell yeah. But the organizational structure is where I have a problem.
If you built your company, because it's a company now, it's not a political movement. If you built your company off the bloodshed of black men, black women, and black children, how can black trans people be your number one entity that you are putting out there for? I've heard nothing about prison, mental health, drug rehab, nothing for black
Right.
men, black women, black children in any of their new demands. I talked down their top 7 earlier in the video. I don't know if you had got on before by then.
Yeah.
But when I was hearing about their new demands, I'm like, okay, so they're gonna do some shit.
Well, let me just say this, because I always believe in telling the truth. I think the organization got its roots and its footing. What happened to black men? It's no coincidence that you have Michael Brown's father, and I did a story about this on my second channel. Michael Brown's father and one of the activists that were down there in Ferguson said that Black Lives Matter has gotten about, what is it, $90 million in endowment to them. And he's saying
that was just last year.
Last year, he said that none of the activists or the chapters that they have in the Black Lives Matter movement, such as the chapter in DC and other chapters, have received any operating money, have received no funds. The father says that he has not received any funds that to be donated to the organization that he is, involved in. He said, hey, we've got an organization that's about building the community at the grass level. They haven't dropped us any money. Now, we know that one of the leaders, one of the female leaders in the group, she's running around buying $1 million homes. Now, I don't mean to be a pocket watcher, but it doesn't make sense that you're running around buying $1 million homes to live in areas that are away from black people. Okay, that's what you want to do. But yet you haven't dropped any money on the chapters or even the families that were the victim of this white supremacy police force in this country, which you got your bones and you were made of, right? Then you changed your description of your website to get into intersectionality. Now check this out. I'm going to repeat this again. Whatever your sexuality is, whoever you want to be with, that's your business. That ain't my business. But you can't build a movement off of the backs of dead black men, then turn around and say that when you piss on my shoes and my pants, you say, oh, that's rain. That's not piss. And then turn around and push this narrative of rainbow bright and intersectionality, which has nothing to do with what the organization was supposed to be about. Now you're talking about on your channel that you're about the lifestyle of people's alternative lifestyles. Okay, they can do what they want to do, but what the hell they got to do with black men being shot in the streets unarmed by police? That's what the movement was supposed to be about, and they changed the narrative, and that's why I have a problem, and you have a problem, I would imagine, with their political construct that they've got going, because that's what it is. It's politics, which is built off the backs of dead black men, where black men are talked about very little throughout their website. There's a little talk about Michael Brown. There's a little talk about Trayvon Martin. And then all the rest of it is all this intersectionality stuff. Matter of fact, brother, let me drop another dime on you. Are you familiar with the fact that Black Lives Matter has come out with a comic book? And in that comic book is targeting little kids. And in the comic book illustrations are people living the alternative lifestyle where they want to push.
Okay. All
right, brother. I don't mean to make you upset about it.
You say a comic book?
Brother, I'm going to say it again. I was going to do a story about this. Even Tariq Nasheed did this on his channel. You can go online and find the actual images. So Black Lives Matter came out with a children's, let me say this, not a coloring book, a children's coloring book. And in the coloring book, they're trying to illustrate to children that everything is okay with people who live alternative lifestyles. So every image of the coloring book has people of an alternative lifestyle in the image. So it could be a man with man, woman with woman, all different lifestyles, all on the page. And the whole goal, according to Black Lives Matter, is to educate our young children. I'm sorry. I don't need my 4-year-old, my 5-year-old, my 6-year-old. You can live the lifestyle that you want to live because you are of adult age. That's your business. But I don't need you trying to have influence on my child, trying to give them a coloring book that is pushing the lifestyle that you're living, when we already know scientifically, because I work as a mental health therapist, by the way, that the brain of a person You don't reach full development in your brain development until after 25 years old. Children have no concept of sexual stuff at 4 and 5 and 6 years old unless a adult pushes it on them, right? Other than that, let them stay innocent. Don't start creating illustrations like coloring books. And I kid you not, if you go on Google right now and you Google Black Lives Matter coloring book, if they haven't taken it down yet, you're going to see the illustrations. You're going to see the breakdown of it. And under each illustration gives you a description of what the couple represents.
See, okay, so I'm gonna have to go
brother,
back.
You ain't ready for the information, man, brother.
I'm gonna have to go back and listen to the playback just so I can go back and Google all this shit. And I've learned so much in such a short period of time, and it's just good to build with somebody that's in that same vein. But this is a situation around here. They do, you pull up and do story time, right? With the kids. You read a book to the kids. Well, they have a thing where drag queens read books to kids.
Yeah,
I ain't got no problem. I ain't got no problem with you being a drag queen. I ain't got no problem with you reading a book to kids. But I got a problem with you being a drag queen reading book to kids at the same time. Look, that's not the way you dress all the time. You don't dress like that all the time. I'm not saying cross-dressers or somebody that what do they call it? Identifies as a woman.
Mm-hmm.
These are characters. This is something like you put on this outfit and you go out and perform Tina Turner songs and Cher songs and whatever. They want these people reading books to children. Now, I ain't got no problem with you reading.
Look in your chat.
I ain't got no problem with you being a drag queen. I got a problem with you being a drag queen reading to these kids. Because now you're forcing that kid to look at you differently. When all they should be doing is looking at you as the storyteller. You should, but you bringing that attention to yourself as a cross-dressing man. And that 4 or 5 year old boy and 4 or 5 year old girl, instead of them catching the message of Curious George, you making George curious. You making Georgia curious. Like, how come that looks like a man, but he's dressed like a woman? Now they ain't gonna take the message of Curious George home. They going to talk to their mama and daddies about the 6'3" storyteller that came in with a dress on. That's too much.
Brother.
It's too much, too soon. You're sexualizing education.
Brother, before I get off, because I gotta get off, I gotta attend to my daughter. But brother, I have Googled not once but twice in your chat room what I was telling you about. I want everybody to take a look, just in case people think that I'm sitting up here making up stuff. I put it in your chat room 2 times. I sent the link to the Google site, and it says just as clear as day, the Black Lives Matter coloring book. Google search. There it is, everybody. Check that out. Information man brings no lies to you. And hey, brother, thank you for letting me come up here and share the mic with you. I'm gonna get ready to get off, but I will be in contact with you so that we can get a build on my channel, and you'll see me around when you come on Haps as well. You'll be seeing me around, folks. So I appreciate you, brother. Keep doing what you're doing. You're the truth, and I can say no more. Peace.
I got Reverend Cleve queued up. Everybody in the Haps space.
I'm gonna watch it.
YouTube, Facebook, everything. I appreciate y'all. Information man. Let's get at it, dog. Check this clip out.
No such thing as objective truth, which is implicit in everything Dr. Clark says. That white people use the institutions to accomplish white purpose. The white purpose is to maintain a power position and keep everybody else in a subordinate, powerless kind of position. Now that's the institution's purpose, and that's the way it functions and how it functions. And we got to realize then that everything that the schools teach is designed to fit into that purpose. The schools teach not objective truth, but what the white man wants to project as truth. Now that's from the very kindergarten right straight on through.
For example, what?
Sociology. Sociology is not a science in the sense that it's dealing objectively with the way people live together. The norm by which we judge how other people live. If you live like white people live, then you're living the way you are supposed to live. If not, you're either primitive or insane as a people. Psychologically, it's the same thing. Psychology does not deal with any objective kind of discussion or development of how people live or analysis of how people function as individuals, but how does the white man function? If the white man does it this way, then this is the norm by which we judge all other people. If the white man is violent, then actually all people have to be violent to be normal. If you're not violent, obviously there's something wrong with you and you should be in an insane asylum. The whole pattern that's set up as a norm for human behavior by psychologists, the whole library full of it. Psychiatrists, everybody that's dealing with it is dealing with it from a white point of view. So they teach white children, black children and white children, to look through white eyes. From the kindergarten on, the black child is beginning to look at the world and interpret it through white eyes. Everything he is wrong. Everything that exists in his community is wrong. We ought to declare that white music really is no good, that white psychology is no good. The white man either acts like we do or he's insane. White sociology is no good. The very structure of white society indicates that white people, obviously, in social structure, are either insane or they're abnormal. So we have to project in a black psychology, a black sociology, a black music, a black history that takes in the realities and that is essentially sound, as opposed to the mythology that the white man has developed out of his own ignorance, for one thing, out of his non-creativity, because the white man has never created anything. He's stolen things, but never created anything.
Appreciate everybody in the Have Space, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you caught this from. Powerful discussion with the information man. Powerful discussion. I literally can't wait to go back and listen to this brother because he was spitting it. I wasn't catching it all because I was caught up into making sure that I was ready to return fire. But everybody that's in here, it's only the beginning. Free. We got to make sure we keep up on everybody who kept up on us today. Rochelle, appreciate you coming through early. Kim, as always. Sister Shan, I saw you kick in here. Everybody that's a new subscriber, this is me every day, all day. So hopefully you understand. Subscribe to the Black Watch on YouTube. And that's all I got.